8:30 we can start. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Morning.
Well, I almost made it.
Morning, Jim. Happy President's Day to you.
Oh. Medium.
First thing we need to do is to approve the agenda.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Public comments. Anybody from the public wish to speak on anything? Go ahead.
Home health care department deal.
Just state, will you just state your name for the record?
Mark Kriegel.
Okay, Mark.
Good. First point. I think it'd be nice if the board would come up with a rule somehow that if one person's gonna talk for a group, we know who the group is. Cause anybody speaks has to give their name, what they do, all that stuff.
Okay, I think I know what you're saying.
So because of last week, you got this group of people supposedly, and they're speaking on behalf of the county. We don't even know if they live in the county, if they even pay tax in the county, if they're who knows what they are, special interest group. Who knows? Because we don't know the list. Maybe you guys got it. I don't know. I think that'd be a good thing to do. It's up to you. The home health department is pretty important. All the other counties have private, they were talking all that. And then you hear the nurses. Those private companies call Tama County because they cannot take care of their people. They can't, they ain't big enough. Ours isn't big enough to take care of all the calls they get. My understanding, these private companies help shut down the public home health care parts of these counties. I would then go hand pick the ones that you can make money off of. Those private companies aren't in business because they don't make money. Our public health department, home health care doesn't make money because they gotta take anybody and everybody, is my understanding. Another thing I think you might want to think about where you close down your home health care. They go to houses and have to call the ambulance sometime. Who would call the ambulance for those people if they weren't going into these houses? The next thing, your home health care might end up being the ambulance service hauling people to the hospital because that's the only resort they have is to call the ambulance. I don't know what the ambulance costs to a taxpayer, how many more ambulances you might need to make up for that. Something to think about. The other point I have to make is a solution to this whole problem. I looked up a commercial business, John Deere out here in North Town, $4 million assessed value. Windmills cost about $4 million to build, commercial property. John Deere pays $92,000 in tax bill. I think we can get those windmills a little closer to paying their tax bill of what they're worth. And I know you're gonna say the state has rules. Our state income tax is going down. If anybody pays attention to how much you pay to your state income tax, mine went down considerably the last 2 years. Because they wanna put local control into the hands of you people. And not send you money, you find your own way to make your money. And I know they supposedly got rules where you can only tax those at a certain rate. Call the state, tell them thank you for your rules, but you want us to run our county, this is how we're gonna do it. That's all I got. Thank you.
Yes?
When you hire secondary, Darrell to be shot, when you hire in-house people first on secondary road department before seek outside, that gives people that are in-house an opportunity to advance. Because if they start at the low end, they probably want to advance before they retire.
Yep. I think there's been some changes there, but I didn't know what all of them are, but
Well,
I can speak to it.
Well, hiring in-house is tough because their union contract doesn't state that, anything in there about that, so we have to go off what the state says.
Well, you can still hire in-house.
Yes, and we are.
Give them 60 days to improve themselves.
Yeah, we are, but means there's nothing written in their contract, it has to fall a default. If the wording would be in the contract, then it could go through no matter what, the state wouldn't override it or nothing, but that's kind of that's where, like, we have an excavator position right now that's out to the public. It was done internally first. And we have some applicants, but it has to go out to the public because it has to follow this state side, because there's nothing in their contract saying that we can go right inside.
Did it used to be that way, Kurt?
It did.
They did, the state took that away from the
The
union.
state took it away or the
Yep.
union took, or you?
State did.
They did. Nothing says that we still can't hire them first. It just has,
Right.
it just has to be.
That has to be,
The wording has to be in with the.
No, well, it should be if we want that to happen, but say like Joe Small applied and they have equal abilities, I would think we would go with it
it go
in-house.
internal.
Except for in the case if it's a veteran
A veteran.
or somebody with military service, that's the reason why you would have to post it for 10
Yes.
days to fulfill the employment law. Veterans get preference over jobs.
They do.
If two people are similarly situated and qualified, and one's a veteran and the other one's not, the veteran gets hired first. That's one of the reasons why we have to fulfill that 10-day requirement. It's probably why it's different from the in-house postings. Anybody else got anything for the public? Okay. All right, well, close public comments, and move on. I'd be happy to talk with you after the meeting. There's certain things that I can and can't say during the meeting. Back to you.
I just come real quick, I gotta go do chores and stuff.
All right, well, you could leave your number, or you can get a hold of me after if you'd like.
I might,
Okay,
but yeah, that's all I had. Thank you.
thank you. Discuss and approve 2/9/26 regular minutes.
So moved.
I'll second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oops, motion carries. Road projects. Ben.
Ben?
I'll do it today. I'm Ben today. They've been cutting brush. Last week, I'll just read whatever he has right here. We've been brush cutting last week and we'll continue to do that this week. We have been using our tractors and mowers, chainsaws, etc. They've been stockpiling rock and churn in Chelsea this past week, and it looks like, we're gonna go to Gladbrook next, once Churn fills up. And an update on the current openings. So right now we got a motor grader in Gladbrook that's open. We have 2 truck driver positions that are open, and then that excavator that I was just talking about. Those are the positions that are open. Those are all out to the public, and we're waiting our 10 days.
So do we know if we have any applicants for any of those? Yeah.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Chris has them all.
They're going to
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha.
yeah, I don't recall how many there is for each one, but there is a good handful of them, I do believe. So,
So you're adding 2 new truck positions?
yes. And that will come with the bridge crew dissipating, so now when you start the county, you used to start as a bridge laborer, you'll start as a truck driver / laborer. We'll still use them as general labor, going forward.
Yeah.
Are you applying?
You apply?
That application?
But, yeah, that's kind of all I have on that. I spent a lot of time down there last week, just going through the motions and making sure that Ben's exit
Jane,
had everything logged. He did a nice job making a spreadsheet and everything,
Robert.
so it should be easy to follow. And our intermittent engineer in the back, Nick's here today, so, you guys want, I can introduce you to this. Nick there, Mile County.
and then what's,
I can come say hi.
Yeah, sounds great.
Thanks for coming today.
Do we stand here or I don't know what's it like?
That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Nick Amlon. I'm with Iowa County, their engineer's office. I've been the engineer down there for 12 or 13 years now. I think we've done some, just my resume, I think we've done some good things. We've got, in that time, half or 3/4 of the roads paved. We've got our bridge system down to, the least amount of postings that we've had in a long time. I think that we're, 21% or something percent, as far as the, square footage postings go. We do, up to this point, we have done all of our design in-house with our own, with me and, an assistant that we had. This year is gonna be a little bit different. We will hire out a little bit, but we just got a couple $1 million in grants to do a couple different projects, so. Those full reconstruction, so we're gonna hire those out, but yeah, I think, as far as Iowa County goes, we're doing all right. And, come over here, and I think, I don't know if you guys have or have not approved the agreement or anything else like that, but.
We got it on the.
I think that's our
Okay,
next thing.
if it does go through and get approved, I am over here kind of today, just looking over things. What I would do today is, well, anything that I put a signature on, I really want to look over. So, for today, it would be really looking over the budget stuff and just getting used to what you guys have. And, pulling up AutoCAD and looking at the maps of the bridge embargoes and getting everything kind of set up so that when permits would come through, I'd be able to look at them or at least know where to go. Get set up with, just look at your whole system and how it goes. And then anything else that they need help with in the office. And then after that, should you guys do the agreement and stuff, we will take a look in the following weeks to see what you guys want done. I suppose the next go around, next time I would come over, we would look and see how you guys do things and how I do things. And, not trying to change anything that's over here, but we could sit down and just go through, hey, here's how I do it, here's how you do it. Not trying to change anything, but, maybe we could take the best idea from both worlds. I might take something back to Iowa County, you guys might do a little something here, maybe, maybe not. Again, I don't wanna change anything, but we can go over it. And then after that, it would just be, how deep into the weeds do you guys want this to go? Do you want it just to be a couple hours a week, me signing papers? Or do you want me to look into deeper stuff too? And go from there. So first couple weeks will be set. After that, then we can decide what the route.
Do you have the ability to access our road projects with the DOT to see what is coming up for letting and all those kind of things?
Yes, yeah.
Because I have all of that to send you.
He's got it all.
Okay.
Ben's got it all written
Yeah.
out. for them,
Okay.
too.
And I could see it through the DOT.
Okay, I got that from them, so just making sure.
And I just take a few hours
I'll
last
forward
week
that to 'em.
reviewing.
That's one of the most important things on our priority list, just to make sure that we aren't gonna lose out on any federal or state dollars.
No, correct. I do believe though that, you guys did push some of your lettings back to June.
Sounded like the DOT might have done some of that though.
They might have, guided
Yeah.
for that. So you push some of those back, and then you don't have any letting dates starting for next year's projects. And I believe that you have 3 bridges, and it looks like you wanted to hire consultants to do all of that. I know one is in the city and the other 2, so I would have to also look up what your deal is with the city, what the 28E says.
Okay.
I don't have
That
a,
would be the one out here on the Ridge Road.
Yep.
Maybe I was wanting to know.
Yep.
Yeah, sorry.
290.
No, that's fine. I'll just, let me interrupt you.
And then the other 2, yeah, it would be looking into, if we wanted to set a letting date. I could go ahead and start by getting soil borings and all the permits and stuff lined up. But again, that's gonna take me a few hours to see who you guys have in the area, who you hire and what you do there. And then I would have to go through, if you're not gonna design it in-house, then I'd have to go through and see who you've hired before and look at your requests for proposals and possibly send that back out. that'd be a couple weeks down the road though.
Yeah, that's fine.
I really like your best practices. I like that idea. That's what we've done since we've been on the board. We've gone out to other counties and asked them questions about a myriad of things. And so we like best practices.
And it's a little, I might take some good stuff back.
Yeah, we're definitely open for ideas, too. If there's things that you think we should do differently, that you could still change and it'd save us some money, you know? Like you said, the design work or consult, I mean, I don't know how much we're locked into and how much time you have, but if you're like, oh, I could do this cheaper than you guys outsourcing, I mean, just let us know, and I'm assuming it's kind of a, I haven't seen the agreement, but it's probably a working one that we can change it, whether it's hourly.
Yeah, so we'll look into, here in a couple weeks and get back to you and let you know, or you guys in those couple weeks can think about sort of direction you want to take or how much time or money you want to put into this. Sure. Who knows, maybe you guys get an applicant in the next couple days and I'm only here to sign papers. Just take it.
Sounds good. The good news is everything so far has been free, because we haven't approved the contract.
Good deal.
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you for doing it. Yeah, thank you.
You'll thank us more if we approve.
Right. Do we have a copy of the agreement or some of the details or no? Okay.
So I got it over the weekend, so I did not print it out yet. So.
Okay,
I thought you had forwarded it.
I don't think I received it, but
We may want to,
I've seen it tomorrow, but I don't know that I forwarded it on.
we can just get it printed quick. We can take it.
so we can look at it before we say yes.
It's pretty cut and dry.
Gold bars, is that what they, or what?
Is it just-
I thought you were making a copy too, and I printed my copy out.
it's his pay over there.
Yep.
We would just pay those hours.
Okay. And there's not a cap of hours or like, what is the?
So many for,
I believe in the latest one, I looked at it over the weekend, but I didn't look too close. I believe it set an hourly rate.
yep, 16 hours.
Was there a max time limit?
I think so.
Was that because of his board or just because?
That's what they said.
16 hours.
Yeah, but also it did, it extended to 6 months in duration.
Oh,
It could go for 6.
Okay, so it's,
Instead of 2 months.
okay. So it's 2 months, but has an extension up to.
Yep. No, it doesn't say 2 months, does it?
No, I just said 6, right?
The code only allows it to go for 6
Oh,
months, so I think that's what it
It says 6, again, it was on my phone, I didn't look too.
So up to 6 months is the max.
Yeah.
Agreement.
What's that?
I was sending you the.
Yeah, wait, it doesn't.
Yeah. Something to think. And I signed it there, yes. Thank you, sir.
Look at it.
Even when it's snows.
So you want to come back to it and do some of these other things?
Yeah, that's true. Trust me. Got cameras on all of our trucks, I can look from my office and see how snowy it is.
Really? You mean the truck route?
Yes.
That'd be good lawyers. What grades is that?
Yeah, we only want, I mean, it's testing it, but no, I don't have one kid on here.
Sean, so you got them?
Yep, there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also did the GTF over you.
Yeah, I like that. Just so you know, I talk back.
So I told him, I won't be afraid to boss my. So I.
Either good one.
Oh,
Okay, I would just ask Heather, do you want to read this out loud so everybody knows?
The whole agreement?
Yep.
Sure. So it's with the Iowa County Board of Supervisors, a 28D agreement. This agreement is entered into by and between the Iowa County Supervisors and the Tama County Board of Supervisors pursuant the provisions of Chapter 28D of the Code of Iowa. The Iowa County Board of Supervisors currently employs Nick Amlon as an engineer performing duties for that board. The Tama County Board of Supervisors agrees to employ Nick Amlon through a 28D. This will be a month-to-month contract starting February 16, 2026. The parties hereto have, in a spirit of cooperation between public agencies, agreed with each other and with Nick Amlon that they will interchange employees as permitted by Chapter 28D of the Iowa, or the Code of Iowa. The term of the agreement are as follows. That Nick Amlon on the 16th day of February 2026 will perform engineer duties involving day-to-day engineering duties, including federal and state funding oversight, close out existing projects, budget, and examining bridge plans. That while performing his duties in Tama County, Nick Amlon will be under the supervision of the Board of Supervisors of Tama County, Iowa. That in addition to the payments outlined in paragraph 5 below, the Tama County Board of Supervisors will pay Iowa County the sum of 0.725 cents per mile traveled by Nick Amlon in the performance of the duties performed. Mileage will be calculated for the entire miles driven to and from duties performed for Tama County. That Nick Amlon will remain an employee of the Iowa County Board of Supervisors and perform his regular work assignments for the board, and his wages and benefits shall be paid in its entirety by the Iowa County Board of Supervisors and shall be determined by that board. That the Tama County Board of Supervisors will pay to the Iowa County Board of Supervisors the sum of $150 per hour for the services of Nick Amlon in their county. The payment shall be made monthly to the Iowa County Auditor on or before the 10th day of each month. The hourly requirements of Tama County Supervisors shall not exceed 16 hours. But the Tama County Board of Supervisors will indemnify and hold Iowa County, the Iowa County Board of Supervisors, and Nick Amlon harmless for any actions arising from the official activities of Nick Amlon during his employment in Tama County. That the Iowa County Board of Supervisors, the Tama County Board of Supervisors, or Nick Amlon may terminate this agreement at any time with 30 days written notice to other parties. That in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 28D of the Code of Iowa, this agreement shall not exceed 6 months in duration. And let's go to sign.
I got any questions?
One thing I noticed, it says 30 days of written notices. If we hired somebody new, is it typically 30 days till they would start, or if it ends up 2 weeks? I'm assuming in good faith, we could, obviously, it could be less than that if we agreed upon it, right?
Yep, and then, I mean, if there's some overlap, it would be okay. If
True,
he gets
for that
familiar with
transition and, you know,
What
yeah,
that looks like
that's fair.
in our county, then he could bring another person up to speed that he knows.
No, I think it looks good and, yeah. In my opinion, I'd like the budget looked at for sure. I think even if it takes him a few hours, I think we really need to know. We've made a lot of changes and we need to make sure we're not underfunding it to where we can't get match grants or things like that. So I think we need to make sure that that's looked at here pretty quickly since we're coming up on budget. So, and then like you said, bill lettings and things like that, anything that's got timelines, which you know, kind of once you got what the projects are, you know what's priority, I'm sure. So.
I'm good with it.
I think your guys' budget's already been approved by you guys in the state, right?
I think he said it can be, is that the one that can be amended or is that?
That could always be amended,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he tried to just get it done, but just for you to get it on it.
And it will need to be amended, so if you're gonna give out pay raises.
Yeah, because we haven't, union negotiations aren't finalized yet, so.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll make a motion to approve this and authorize our chair to sign it.
I'll second that motion. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discussion. All those in favor say aye. Carries.
Welcome aboard.
Now it's-
Thank you, Nick.
Now it's official. Thank you. Great to have.
I'll go clock in. My board meets on Friday, so I'm sure that they'll get a copy and then they'll.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Nick.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I think the sign. I spoke to one of their
Yeah. I'm sure.
supervisors over the weekend, and they authorized their chair to sign this already.
Yep, yeah. I just meant, his signature's supposed to go on too. Yeah.
Nick's?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't know if we had to catch him or if he's gonna be around today.
I don't have a signed copy from his board yet either,
They'll
so.
probably do it back in this.
I'll sign it, we'll send it over to them and then they'll send it back. Well, that's a relief. Good news. We've got
Yeah,
somebody in place.
Good job.
right on time, no interruption.
Good job.
Thanks, Greg.
I spent a lot of time down there last week.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Herb does not want to be the county engineer.
No, really? I don't have that PE, I can't stand for something.
I got the 63-degree weather on this line too. He wants to get out in the dirt.
Oh, yeah, you got stuff to do, don't you?
Okay, discussion and possible action to approve policy for secondary road concerning GPS location, is that's,
I could talk to this.
I can talk on it too.
all right.
Go ahead.
So, long story short, I talked with, Taylor when I went doing phone stuff. And we used to be able to track them, but there was some disagreement at the previous board.
Right.
Basically said, you guys can't use this to track drivers anymore. Because regardless, that was, I think, an error in judgment. We need to be able to know where our equipment is, where people are for safety reasons, for employment reasons, what have you. And we also have a program on a lot of the vehicles that Taylor's gonna bring some information to us that needs to be changed out. Because it's not working correctly. So anyway, what this does, this allows us to track our equipment and does away with some old, direction from the previous boards.
And the reason it was brought to the board for us to look at it and rework it a little bit, means Ben's gone now. Taylor's working on the phones and the clock in and our pre-trip inspection app and stuff like that in this phone system. And without him being authorized to get in there, he won't be able to do it. That was the reasoning.
Okay.
So I told him I would bring it to the board and we'd get it figured out for him. And I know, I'm not sure on that phone app yet. Going back and forth with him, I don't know that it's gonna work. I don't know what Ben got is gonna work for us, but there is other options, so we might have to change that.
Yeah.
And like I told Taylor, I said, we're just into the start of it. So if we're gonna axe it, this would be the time to do it rather than 6 months down the road when we spend time and get into it, so. A lot of the app is like I said, a pre-trip inspection, it's just accountability,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Yeah.
Hopefully it would save some door frames at the sheds with your wing down and stuff, hopefully,
Mm-hmm.
so.
At the safety meeting, we talked about the pre-trip.
It
That's
happens.
huge. It's like anyone at the CDL knows, you need to thump your tires, you need to check your light. I mean, it's every single time you get in. you need to-
And we didn't, secondary roads didn't have a policy, that pre-trip, so. we're working that out.
That sounds great.
I think he's on his 5th or 6th policy already.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This one came, I got it on the weekend and worked on a little bit to simplify it. There's a couple of things that are different. One, there was a general statement, if you look at the previous one. There's a general statement that just said, this is what this is going to be used for, and then it prohibited it from using it for routine. I took that out. And if we need to add it back in, I can. I thought that was, it put too many parameters on
Right.
management. Secondly, I gave authorization to, the office manager and the secretary bookkeeper, because when we start to do the time and attendance, this would also give access to the, for payroll. If I'm clocking in somewhere, that will show me where I'm clocking in at on
Right.
GPS.
Right.
And so if I have it on my phone and I'm clocking in from my house, it's gonna show that I clocked in from the house and not from the shed. For further transparency and accountability.
Absolutely.
If we wanna take that, up, we can do that as well, but
I think this really simplifies what we had before. I read through our old one and then this is really a lot clearer.
Yeah.
So,
less is better.
yes,
And there's one other sticky wicket going with this. Right now, we're still working with Tyler because we've already paid for the security of the phones that are gonna be issued out. But there's stuff that Tyler has to do, and he hasn't responded to my strongly worded email yet.
It is not,
Okay, would you reach out to him again today?
I will.
Make me the bad guy.
So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff that's going on behind the scenes with not only engineering, but with the Tyler system, so. We will get it fixed. I'll wait till the end for that, so.
Thank you guys for
So-
bringing this up, good
so
accountability, so
while
it's good.
While we're talking about Tyler, so my understanding, like in Tyler, if they want a different thing at secondary roads, does that cost money through Tyler to have them set that up?
Or like what?
Like a different line item or whatever in Tyler itself, or like secondary roads?
Like in their budget?
No, like on this,
Do we have to
on
pay?
this time and attendance.
The type of attendance thing.
I'm not sure I follow what you mean by another line item.
I mean, like, how's it set up? So is it, they just, when they clock into it, so like, if all our numbers, like, are 461 and all that,
So they can clock in,
So,
it'll clock in under their
if we
base
put-
number.
what I'm asking though is if all them numbers are put in there, does Tyler charge us for every one of those?
No,
they
I
have to
set
put
them
in?
up.
You said,
I
okay,
set them.
okay.
Yeah.
That was
Those numbers are already all in there.
okay,
Where we are with Tyler is, we pay, in order for us to use these phones, we have to have a security system. We've already paid for the security system.
Now they say that we need to pay for me to be trained on the app and app setup. But that, my understanding was that was all included when we initially purchased this upgrade.
Okay,
And so, but they're wanting to charge for 4 hours of training on the app and,
We already have the training.
well, I don't see how you need 4 hours of training on an app, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And they won't tell us anymore right now until we pay the bill and we're arguing over the bill. So that's where we're at right now.
But you're saying we already paid for it, like.
Well, we
when
paid for the
bought it
initial
fast.
upgrade, but now they're saying that this is an additional hourly charge that they need to do for setup and training. But I just feel like with all of and David and I have talked and with all of the problems we've had during this upgrade, we don't feel we need to be paying anymore.
And the guy said he couldn't waive the fees, and I said, I interceded, and I said, you talk to Michelle and do exactly what she says and give us what we want, but I want to know who can waive the fee. And he hasn't gotten back to us yet, so we will pursue that. We're not spending money that we don't need to spend, and I'm tired of dealing with that, so. I'll deal with it, but I'm tired of the roadblocks.
Just need a motion to approve the policy.
I'll make a motion, we approve this GPS policy and have chair sign.
I'll second that.
Okay, you're okay with the way it's written? Is
Yeah,
what I'd like.
I am.
Yes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, discussion possible action on release of mortgage. This is the question that came. I didn't quite understand it, so I sent it to Brent Aaron, and I reported you on his response. I asked him, should we reject it or accept it? And he gave me a really long answer, which I think means approve it. And so, based on his legal advice, I would recommend that we also, my interpretation of his advice is that we would approve it.
I'll make that motion that we approve it.
I'll second it.
Okay, been moved in second. Okay,
So that's in my district. I went and looked at the place. It's okay. I've got no problem.
okay. Yeah, from what his explanation, if I get it right, 10 years ago, this was the plan and it was set up, and it was today that we are going to acknowledge and follow through on that plan.
It pretty much releases the lien, it
Yep.
sounded like there was a lien on it.
Yeah,
from
it was
the
already
variable
planned.
loan, and it was planned and
It's planned after, and so it's coming to us today to, clean up that process.
Mhm. Is there gonna
What
be
was our-
more of these, do you think,
I
or,
don't know.
cause this was like over the 10
Yeah.
years, it was 16
Exactly.
years, so I
It was
wonder.
from 2010.
Might be like, cause who brought this, did you find it?
It came from a bank, so somebody must have
Oh.
identified the property because it came from the bank. asking
Oh,
for
okay.
The lien to be released.
Guess that's something maybe, I don't know who would be the record keeper, if that's recorder, which one?
It
might wanna-
comes through Region 6. Region 6 is the
Oh, okay.
one that, so.
Gotcha, interesting.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Oops, motion carries. That will be approved, then, discussion and possible action on tax abatement proposal. It's gonna. Kurt's.
Ben's here. You can sit up here like that.
Sure. I see, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, my name is Ben Schimmel, I live south of Dizer, 210th Street. I'm in a few other professional capacities within Tama County. I'm here as an individual. That's not on behalf of Tama Benton or any of the school, the union school board stuff. So as I had those point of views of how we can help just Tama County grow, how we can help our cities grow. I know if we're working with trying to keep grocery stores and keep some other businesses on Main Street, trying to get bond issues passed for schools. It feels like we need people. And our roads, our secondary roads, living out in the country are in great shape. And we have a few bridges in here and there, but I think with a tax abatement, that can encourage maybe some of these older acreages to be restored. Maybe new houses be built out in the country. Just help us add to the landscape of getting new houses, get new people, multi-generational homes if they want to put an addition on so kids can move back, get the school buses to run those routes. I know we talked about it before. I have had a quick conversation with Wesley. So as you can see, a packet that I put together, it's going to talk about the argument between 3, 5, or 10 years. I was talking to you guys about a 10-year, which is kind of a long ask. It's going to separate us from any other county. We've seen a lot of 3 and 5 year tax abatements in other counties. They're not driving some of the larger decisions, I guess, of homeowners to build. I also put kind of a sunset clause in it to say, hey, if we start 10 years this year, then next year it's a 9. So we know that there's an end date. So it's just not in to going. So it's going to benefit people that want to act quicker and build sooner, but then still reward as you go forward. And of course, you guys would always be able to adjust or change things if it's working or not working. So that's kind of my insight on it, on why I think the 10 years with just kind of how the landscape's changed, how things are working. We've kind of hit the high of the housing market, it feels like. We've had a little bit of adjustment as I'm personally looking to build a house south of town. We've noticed that the interest rates dropped a little bit, potentially June, as some things move out, they're gonna have additional drops, potentially. If there was a guarantee, that might make it interesting for people to maybe build that addition or build a house. And it did change our landscape. I mean, I wanted to be out in the country because of the view, and the lights are different. So now you're just making arrangements for where you plant your trees and where you arrange your houses, just to kind of help mitigate some of those. Was there any questions that you guys would have for me that I can answer? I'm probably better at answering questions than I am trying to talk.
Okay, have you talked with the economic development team that we are married up with now in Marshalltown?
I have not talked with him directly. I have sent him a copy of this, but have not reached out or not talked with him. I did reach out to Wesley reached out to me.
Okay.
I know I did send it to both John and Jake as well.
Okay.
Yep, so. They didn't give a lot of feedback, I guess. They more wanted the county attorney to give some insight, but the county attorney just said it's more of a politic thing, so.
Right.
So I didn't get a lot of answers, but it's something that can be done. It's just making sure from Brent's side, like legally, is there anything, how was that word, like an urban revitalization? Is there anything special we have to do if we decide to do it? That's, I guess, an open-ended question, but it's all just whatever we want to do, is my understanding.
I appreciate the 3, 5, and 10 outlook. My concern from our tax base is with the downward pressure from state limiting what we can do. If we say put in a trailer park or a multi-unit somewhere and we lose, the taxing for 10 years, how would that impact our tax base? And, I mean, in my thought process, I'm hoping to see that the Fed gets smart and reduces the rate, because right now, who can truly afford to buy a house? I mean, with what's happened in the last 6 years, the housing market has been trashed. And so probably not going to build anything extra, although we may. You never know, but again, 10 years means a long time. It's like with the wind project, we don't start actually seeing money for 7 from that taxing. We do start
We
seeing.
start seeing it slowly,
Yeah, slowly.
Yeah.
Do, but it's backs down at 7.
Yeah, so. That's where I'm concerned about the 10 years. I do think it's a smart idea. But I wanna know a little bit more before we. I wanna know where the interest rate's going to be, and we won't know until it's shaken.
Oh, we'd all be doing something different if we knew.
Yeah,
well, and I think
What-
that's, okay.
Would it be all the unincorporated areas?
Yes,
Yeah.
unincorporated portions of.
All unincorporated areas of the county?
As far as somebody. I mean, I think you're. Looking all deep into something, if somebody's gonna go put something out in a rural area just because of this, like a trailing court or something, I mean, I 99.9% sure that's not gonna happen. And if it does, we're not getting it anyway. If, you know, I mean, we're not getting anything out of it right now either. So if that does happen and they do it, so what, we don't get taxed, what, we get people moving in.
Mhm.
I mean, I think there's a positive side to that. I mean, I understand we need to look at those, you know, possible negative things,
Yeah.
but I think that either way, that situation is somewhat of a positive.
Yeah, so I didn't know much about any of this until you brought it. I had to research and look into it and read what you, so I appreciate you bringing it up to us, but I mean, where mine wraps is, it's super expensive to build a house right now. I mean, a few years ago, it was very affordable, interest rates were low, you know, materials, it's very expensive. So in my mind, yes, if we could get people to come in and they don't have to pay, you know, any more on their property taxes for, you know, whether it's 10 or we could do something lower like 5, but for a certain amount of time, that's huge, because if they could save that money for 5 or 10 years, you know, it helps them on the upfront increase of what houses now cost, right? So I do think it would be a benefit to do it. Never knew we could, like I said, but, you know, like you said, the windmills, not as many people want to live by them, but you're getting a bunch of people from out of state too, coming in, and if they're like, hey, you know, I see people like, where should I, you know, we have one in town that she's from Alaska and just found an old country home in, you know, Tama County and just, you know, a few miles from me, and she wanted to live here. I mean, we might get some of that attraction. So I do see that side of it, as well as North Tama just had their, you know, grand opening of their addition, you know, putting a new high school, and it's super nice, and it's like, how do you fill it with kids? I mean, I know you got the school board mentality, but we have the school, we have these bonds approved, at least for North Tama, and I know GR just got theirs approved, I know that's the Rhinebeck side, but still, how do you get people to come and fill our schools, to buy local, you know, material, and then, like you said, the, sales tax will increase, you know, so that helps too. So I guess I think it's a pretty cool deal. I don't know whether that 5 or 10 year, what's best. And I know Wes couldn't be here today. I just wanted a little more feedback, but I know you guys talked at least, so.
He can't support it one way or the other, which
For
is
sure.
given his spot, so.
For sure.
I'm not against it. I just would like to know the fiscal impact.
Yeah, because my mind wraps around like
Yeah.
the whole growth thing, when they limit our growth, so like, let's say a bunch of houses come in, even if we grew by 20%, we can only tax higher 2%, right? Like it's a 2% growth
2%.
limit, so like,
2% income.
so like, you know, it doesn't really, we can't raise it that much anyway, you know, like, but I don't know when that difference, if everybody stays the same. I don't know, my mind just trying to wrap around, we need an expert on this, what the state's doing,
So
so.
it might include a little bit more. I mean, Wes, I think, made a comment too, that he didn't know exactly what these other counties were accomplishing out of it, you know?
Yeah.
But I think there's probably more steps or bigger steps that need to follow this, like advertising.
Yeah.
I
People
mean,
know, you mean?
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you always hear, I'm born and raised here, you always heard Blackhawk County taxes, you know, people complain about their high taxes. Well, there's gotta be a way to let them people know
For sure.
that we're offering it. We just can't sign this, or when we do,
Yeah.
or if agree to this, I think that needs to come out. Maybe we can work with John and
Yeah, to broadcast it.
Yeah, get on maybe a state Facebook type, we need to get it out there too. I mean, just this group knowing it is not really gonna help.
No, advertise,
Yeah.
make Tama County the place to build.
Make a place to build, make it look good, and make it not look good, because it is good, but I mean,
Need to sell it.
sell it,
Yeah.
thank you.
My only concern though is looking forward, people like me, if I pay my house off, there's a move afoot now where over 65, you're not gonna pay property taxes. That's something that's being talked about more. And just from a maintaining a tax base so that we can continue to provide services, that's my concern. Like I said, I'm not against it, I just want to see numbers.
Yeah.
The nice thing about that same comment about us losing if you're over 65, you don't pay, younger families are the ones building the house,
Right.
you should say, and I think that would encourage the activity to increase our tax base up. And if you want to game it, and somebody wants to build a house every 2-3 years, well, then we have the houses, it built the tax base.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of those, and the time it takes to plan and build a house, if you're doing it, it's about a year and a half. A couple of the other things in the research of just code enforcement on building structures, it looks like Iowa might go to where there's no rural code, to where within the tax abatement, you could put that, hey, there is building standards within the county to make sure insurance premiums don't go up quite a bit higher, that we can have also that rule standard of conduct as you build something, especially as they get the post frame houses, that shoust look house with a pole barn with an apartment in it. You might be able to have some code enforcement for proper air, proper safety, so you don't put that burden on a lot of the emergency management people there too. So.
And I think with your comment, David, they won't stop paying, it'll just freeze their property taxes if the current legislation is at 65, it freezes it. That was, cause
Like I said, what I read.
That was one plan.
So it's
The
changed.
latest one, the president just.
Really? Oh.
If you own.
Cause that's what I thought, I was like, how are we gonna make that up? And then
Yeah.
I heard that it was upside down.
But you have to own it, so in other words, the house has to be paid.
Gotcha. So the president's looking at doing it, but it's not approved yet, but
No.
the state,
It's
and
pie in the sky stuff.
they can put that down and make the states do it.
Yep.
Okay, I hadn't heard that one yet.
It'd be hardest on the counties with the demographic with the oldest population, which I
Which
think.
is harder.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
we're there.
Yep.
So I'm not looking to raise taxes, I think we need to, as we look at this, I think you put, this is 30,000 foot look.
Yes.
I wanna see the numbers, punch some numbers in there, so it's like, okay, I can support this.
Sure.
You know, that's what I'm looking for. I just wanna know before I say yes, because I don't want unintended consequences. And if it's fine, I'm all for it.
Yeah, everything I was gonna say about it was kind of hit on, everybody hit it. The 10 years is kind of in the air with me too, that's a long time. But I think there's definitely probably, like David said, we probably need to see the numbers and see how they look.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting to see, just take a base value house or just put a example out there, say
It's 200,000.
yep, and then say what it'll be a 10-year and what's the difference to a 5-year?
Yep.
The difference that we lose in 5 years, if we go to 10, might be minimal,
Right.
but it'd be nice to see that.
But how do we see that? I guess that's the question.
Well, you
Put an example.
You take some
It's not that
examples.
easy with property taxes though, like, I mean, we'd have to talk to Wes, but it's like, the way that legislation, it's not like it just, okay, this is what it is, this is
Yeah.
the value, you're not, assessed on it exactly like
But
that.
people can make educated guesses, it's like life insurance. There's actuaries out there that, and there's algorithms where you can plug all kinds
Yeah.
of numbers into it and come up with a fairly decent number that we go like, okay, I
I'm
can do
okay
this.
doing that,
Yeah.
who's gonna do that for us, that's what my question.
Yeah.
I can do a lot of the accounting work on it, but it's just hard to say.
Yeah.
So if the house wasn't built at all because you don't have this,
Right.
it's the same. Zero.
Yeah, you get zero.
But if we could have an influx of houses be built, your 10-year outlook is fantastic.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's that caveat, say, all right, let's say, we'll take the last 5 years, just to help me with my math, we'll take the last 5 years of new structure built in rural county.
Mhm.
We'll kind of see what their values were.
Yeah.
And then do we think that trend would continue? And let's say our goal is to double the trend. And so if there was 5 houses, maybe there's 10 houses. And then we can kind of see how that plays out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, with COVID, we lost the mill workers, and so the price of lumber stuff's gone up. At some point in time, my expectation is it will slowly decline and come down.
It's the labor.
It's the
It's the
labor.
labor that hasn't switched and is absolutely smoking your build.
Yep, oh, yeah.
Copper price at $4 a pound, you know, roll of Romex is now $250 instead of 90.
Yep.
The trades, the codes, the wind, the trees,
The sky's blue.
sky's blue. Yeah, it's just amazing about how it is and what it takes to incentivize it. The bank's levered position on a newer structure.
So maybe something that the abatement works for up to 5, and then from 5 to 10, it's a small percentage, you know? I mean, there's probably about
Right.
a million different ways to do it.
Yeah, it'd be nice to look at that too, cause like sometimes too, like even if you did 5, sometimes the taxes are delayed usually, you know, based on, they're always behind, right? So it would almost be like a 6 or a 7 if you did a 5, you know, because they're delayed. So it's something that doesn't have to be 10, it could be
Right.
between 5 and 10 or something.
Because right now it's 1. You build a house now,
Right.
Yeah,
you're paying,
One.
the first year, you're not paying any taxes, and then all of a sudden, whoa.
correct,
It's-
it goes right up, yeah.
It's not that it's a loss later, but it's sure nice to have it on the internet that it's a 10-year tax abatement that has kind of a sunset clause to, in 3 years by people to say, hey, it is, interest rates are down where they need to be and I do want to build, it's a 7.
Yeah, no, I think this is a great idea. Like I told Nick, I'm looking for the best idea. What's the best idea? What's the best way to do something? And then go for it.
Could always do even like 100% for the first 5 years, start stepping down or something instead of a full
Oh, just
100%.
like the turbine, they're, you know, basically.
Yeah, the other way around, it'd be
The other
like
way around.
100% at first and then after 5 years, just like
Yeah.
trickle down, because it's hard to estimate where we'll be in 10 years, but 5 is a little more realistic, you know, plus. Yeah,
If we don't look at it, we're done. That's my thoughts. So
yeah,
I'm not against it. I want to see numbers. And then we can go from there, I think.
Yeah, I think it'd be good to get it in, get together with Jake, but, I mean, this is a rural, economic development issue.
for sure.
That's what we just hired him for, and so if we can run that through them, we have sent that to them for their opinion. The only thing that they gave us was kind of a caution, if we get a lot of new development close to the cities, then they can just annex annex that value and then it goes into their city.
But wouldn't that be a great problem?
No, I mean, we already have enough problems with the city.
Well, you get more basements dug, you get more tires. You get more fuel,
I know
you
what
get
you're
more-
saying.
But yes,
It would be a good problem.
it would be a good.
But that was their only concern, but it was hard for them to give a comment unless it was a specific project, like they were talking about like maybe a subdivision or something like that, so they were thinking.
So, we could get you Jake's information and you,
I think I'm copied on an email with him. So I should
okay,
be able to-
alright, then you get some numbers done. I'm just trying to help Kurt out here a little bit, get him off the door.
We have his phone number now, or on our
Have digging to do?
website, it's under economic development, it's Jake's phone number now too. Yeah, just give him a call if we can get those numbers.
Yeah, just,
Get back on the agenda with some numbers, that would be great.
That should.
I think it's a
shouldn't take
positive,
long.
it's a positive situation.
I can't see a way to game it where the county doesn't win.
Yeah.
You know, somebody's always gonna own the property, the county's not gonna own the property, where it'll be a newer house or a larger addition, or the schools. Yeah, I'll try and get the numbers and get on a agenda again and go from there.
Very good.
Is there any other concerns while I'm doing that? Any other questions? Thoughts that I should answer, so I don't,
No, I like your sunset clause. I mean, I think that's a great idea to get people to, hey, we gotta jump on this.
Exactly.
Because we're gonna lose.
It's a motivator.
And I think the whole ADU, we had that conversation a couple weeks ago, like the grandpa house, I think the more that people's grandparents or their kids could live on their properties, and we need to kind of look at our ordinances to make sure that, you can't have more than one house on a property because, yeah, it's probably good to cap it where you don't have like 20 on one property, but we bring in more taxes too, if we can have, like my child and myself live on the same 20 acres, so. Something.
I'm not for capping it.
Yeah, me either.
No regulations
It's
on
my property. I'll do with my property what I want.
Whatever the state requires, that's what's good, that's good evidence. I don't think that the county needs to put more burdensome regulations on people.
We need to fight the state when they are.
It's the opposite of those homeowner organizations or whatever.
Yeah, they waste. What's that?
For some reason, some of the code enforcement's kind of nice to make sure you have safe housing going up and not a bunch of just unrealistic builds, or they're too cheap, or they're unsafe to put a burden there.
So I guess the only other concern was from the economic development, I just pulled up the email, but he's wondering if we need to establish an urban revitalization area to provide for the tax exemptions. He's not confident the law would allow for a 10-year, 100% exemption, so that's something we should probably look into too.
That's what he was saying, all unincorporated areas of the county.
Yeah, so that would make it okay then, like that there's not a law against that, you know, I guess that's
We would have to designate it as an urban revitalization area.
the whole unincorporated area. And that would be through a policy that we would do. Okay. Okay,
Because you have an application process for the abatement, and you'd probably go ahead of you guys, so then you know what's going on.
okay.
Because the cities that do all their own, it's like the unincorporated cities, I don't know, which here is an unincorporated city.
I think they're
It may-
incorporated right there.
Maybe it could help some that do become unincorporated, but.
Mhm.
Oh, sure. I'll get to work on that. If you have any other questions, I'm probably on an email there. Get it to me. I'd like to incorporate those so I can answer as many questions as we can. The map will be subjective. A lot of if statements and what statements and
Yeah.
hopes and goals.
That works.
Okay?
Thank
I'll
you.
put it together.
Thanks for your time,
Appreciate it.
man.
Thank you.
Discussion relating to the tour of the old middle school in the Marshall County Jail. I wasn't able to attend, but, David.
I was there.
The jail, I was there and.
For Marshall County?
Yep.
Any updates on what your thoughts are after going to both? I went to just the middle school. I wasn't able to.
Yep, and I missed the middle school, so.
Well,
Kurt and I were the only ones that did both, I think.
yeah. I just, by chance, was having a conversation with our sheriff there, Casey, and, what they've done over there is great. I mean, it works out for them, and it's probably one of the larger jails.
Right.
Not being a prison, that they're probably in the state of Iowa, they hold some inmates over there. But just having a conversation with him during that tour, I guess from the get-go, I didn't think building on over here was possible. Lack of room. And that was the end of story for me. Well, there is actually plenty of room over there.
Yes, sir.
And even, and we can go up, we can go a second floor.
Or third,
Or third, yeah. So you would have to get a need assessment like Casey said.
Yeah.
But I think, I think the middle school would be just out of touch a little bit.
Yeah.
It's so big and cut up. I just think.
I just feel like that you'd have too much construction. You'd be better off just building them.
Yes, and
probably faster.
And especially now that I'm comfortable that we can do it right here.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah, we
have to
can always
worry about
go out.
going out on our property out there or anything. There's plenty of room over there. And as far as parking, we could even, if we make room in there for the Board of Health, that building could be tore down over there and that could be parking for the courthouse over there in on that corner, just things like we could do for that. Parking would have been a thing we'd have to answer, but Casey was comfortable with, street parking and all that, but, so my opinion, I think we probably should just step back a little bit and just look into a need assessment, and see what that looks like and look into it, something new, our own property.
in addition, do the need assessment, then get an architect and figure out like what we could do, because we could go several layers to where EMA dispatch, we could get a bunch of people in there. The main concern is like the courthouse is historical. And so if we build on and it touches the historical area, we have an issue there, because then you gotta bring like everything, like the old jail site needs to be in compliance. It might connect, so there's some questions that are gonna be asked as well to like the I can't remember who the jail leader person was, that comes around from the state. You know, to understand how does that work, cause right now they're grandfathered where they don't have to meet all the codes and such, and so, that's something that they need to look into.
And that, I don't think that in this situation, I kinda looked at it, I walked over there this morning, that, I don't think it will touch.
No, so,
And they're right in this corner over here where it all kind of goes together, that's where all the mechanics are.
Okay,
The mechanical stuff, the HVAC and stuff, so the big generator's sitting over there. So it'd be something that you would have to just maybe cut around that, so I'm 99.9% sure that.
it'd be a separate building.
It'd be a separate building, well, it'd be on the new part of jail.
right, so
Gotcha.
I'll keep this as short as I can. I don't think we should take this, that's the old school.
I would agree with you there too.
That, for two reasons, well, two reasons. Number one, it's cost prohibitive to fix it. In Marshalltown, they're looking to spend money now to update that jail with the intention of building a new one in another 10 years. Because and when we talked to, what was the guy's name? Luke, was it Luke, their engineer over there? The guy that took us around. So in talking with him, they spent a lot of money already in just converting it. That would be cost prohibitive for us. And if we were to take that same amount of money and apply it to a new jail, I think we would be better served. And I keep floating, and I hope people are listening. We need to use everybody else's better idea. If there is a jail that's already built that will fit in the platform that we have and it meets state codes and all that stuff, let's pay a nominal fee for their building plans, their blueprints, and then we do all the rest of the stuff, site prep, et cetera. So that it reduces the cost, it meets our needs, and then for the architect for me would be making the facade, making it match facilities, so it blends in and all that. I think it would be cheaper to do it that way. And we need to ask the jail guy, he was supposed to be here in April, but we can still ask him beforehand. Are there any provisions for us if we're building a new jail that physically touches or is attached to the old jail with the intention of upgrading the old jail after the new jail is in place? Are there any codes that allow us to do that without taking away the grandfathering until we've finished the new jail? So I don't know if I would go more than 2 stories high, just for the way it looks, but there's a big enough space there for us to do that, and just take that whole parking lot out and build a larger sally port so that, you know, you could take more prisoners in at a time. But if it was a vote today, I would go with new jail, existing building plans, and then hire the architect basically for the facade. And then, of course, we'd have to do all the prep work. And I like the idea of maybe reusing the old sheriff's area for other offices, fix that up too, but that would be a separate issue.
What do we need to do? I think it's probably fair to the school that we let them know.
That's kind of what, I just put it on here to just have a discussion is what was everybody's thoughts on it? I guess my immediate concern would just be, once we went over there to that school with it, through all that, and I thought, so I'm a visionary, so I can start putting things in. I can fill up about a quarter of it, you know, with the space, and then we'd have to start getting creative, like making wish lists, you know, and things to put in there, and it just was.
It's big.
Too big of a building, you know, and then you start calculating the square footage, it's over 48,000 square feet. Take that times remodeling price right now, and it costs, I mean, somewhere between 13 and $15 million just to renovate the space without putting in the special things that you need for a jail. So that was my first concern. The second thing I figured, when you start moving all of these, the 911, the EMA and all of those kind of things over there, what does the square look like? I think that we have some kind of responsibility because we do have the courthouse on the square. There's a historical concept that surrounds the entire square. While most of the buildings around here are empty, I think that we kind of have, if we're going to do something to spruce something up or to maybe make some more offices, it would be incumbent upon us that this thing's going to live. Instead of tearing the buildings down, we would buy them and renovate them and put offices in them. So that was it would be kind of a ghost town on the square, and I would hate to see that happen. Not that it's not already, but it could be worse if we didn't have a president for the jail and those kind of things. And then the third thing is, what do our numbers look like? Numbers for the jail are trending downwards. Do we need a new jail? The jail that we have right now is only 30 years old. That's not that old for a jail. We needed more space because we were sending so many people out of county and paying a lot of money for that. Do the numbers right now justify even looking into building a new jail? I don't think that they do. You probably look at the trend lines over the next couple of years and find out what do those numbers look like? Why are they going down and those kinds of things. And so if we need a new jail, yeah, then that space makes sense. But if we don't need one, at this point, last year it didn't look like that we did. So now that we know that the numbers can ebb and flow, we need to kind of keep an eye on that.
Yeah, because last year was like 40 and we can house 18. This year's been below the 18, so it's.
Summer's coming, and when summer comes.
This is already the 11th year,
Right.
this old, over the old.
Yeah.
And so those numbers would have been in from our July 1st until that, we haven't spent our appropriated.
Well, and you can do a bigger jail and hold like federal inmates, but the problem that Marshall Town, when we went and visited, said is then you gotta have trained jailers and like way more skill, and then you're adding employees, and so then
Right.
does that offset the money you're bringing in? Cause like they said at Marshalltown Jail, like their, revenue's $1 million and they're spending $3 million.
Yep.
So it's like, that's their offset, so that's a hard part too, so yeah, I agree, we need to understand if we did do it, probably not the federal housing, like how many do we need and what's the trends? If we need just one level, do we not need anything for a few years, like, is there any gaps? I mean, one thing they said, if we could get, if we did like a level plus our dispatch and deputies, like the retaining employees, when they're comparing to look at this nice office in Marshalltown or Grundy and Tama counties is, just in the old courthouse that's not great, so we gotta think about retaining and getting, especially the dispatch and the sheriff office employees that, might start going to other counties too, so.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just like you said, it's that forward looking, what does it look like? Have Casey kind of help us out with that and just present it to us, get that need assessment and.
Yeah, and the person that goes there and inspects the jails, they're not looking to see if it's old, they're looking to see if it's compliant, and the jail is compliant.
Yeah.
Everything that they noted in the report last year had to do with cleanliness, it had nothing to do
Yeah,
with the
if there's a
structure.
crack or something, they'll have them just seal it,
It
just
had
make sure
nothing to
that's
do with
fine.
like crumbling stairs or foundations or anything like that, it was only, strictly had to do with the cleanliness of the jail itself. At this point, I think that's sufficient. The question is it big enough? It's not if it's, safe enough.
And I think we definitely have a need for the dispatch. I mean, it's the 911 situation, and if long term, just kind of envision it, we don't need a jail right now, but we need a 911 building. We could do that with blueprints to add on a new jail. I mean, we could do that with the vision of, yes.
For the future.
So I think that's something.
And you can do it in phases.
Right, phases, yep. So, I just think it's now that I think we all made our minds up that it'd be most fair to let the school know ASAP that
There is input in the chat
this is not an app.
from Jacob.
Go ahead.
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and read it?
But we'll nominate David to let the school know.
Jacob says,
with that.
Jacob says the amount of money the county would have to put into STC middle school would not be fiscally responsible. Keep us centralized, update what we have. EMA 911 have had a needs assessment done already too, and then he said, well said, Heather.
Yeah, cause
What was that last thing?
Well said, Heather.
Oh,
Jake did come to both the tours as well, so he had some good input there too.
David will let them know.
Thanks, Dave.
Go for it. All right, discussion relating to kids corner daycare, did you make that meeting, Kurt?
I did,
Okay,
I did.
we just wanted an update as to, far as what their request was.
What was the original? They just wanted us to be
Yeah,
in on the meeting?
Yeah, they're having struggles making ends meet, and so they asked for us to be a kind of partner at a meeting to.
Okay.
For
This-
strategy session.
This apparently, from what I took, this happened like in the seventies. When this all kind of went down and Tama, Toledo and the county went in to help start.
Oh, okay.
So
So
we contributed funds to start that.
that's how I took
Cause
it.
it's actually
I
called
believe that that's right.
Tama County Daycare
Yeah.
doing business as Kids Corner.
Yeah. It's, doesn't look good for them. I mean, the budget's just, they're behind.
Well, they've had trouble before too.
Yes, yeah, the bank's been very nice to them already, and she's worried that they can't keep doing that.
Are they full? Do they get-
No, that's the only solution to this whole problem is enrollment. I mean,
Yeah.
they're at half enrollments. They have, 18 children from Tama, 16 from Toledo, 12 from out of town.
Mm.
And their max enrollment is 132.
My mind is like, why? Cause most daycares are on waiting lists, you know,
Yeah.
especially the littles, the babies and the toddlers.
When you're talking about out of town, does that mean in the unincorporated area of the county, or is that like Marshall down?
Just sit out of town, but I guess I probably don't.
They're from, yeah.
But, and obviously they've had troubles for a while, so they've raised their, I mean, I don't think they're outpriced themselves for that being a reason for their enrollment being out.
Hourly rate.
But it's, they can't really go any higher. They leased the building from the city of Toledo, which Toledo has cut in half since the beginning. They're paying like $2,000 a month back in the day, and I think they're currently paying $1,000.
So Toledo owns the building?
Yes, the city of Toledo.
In the city of Tama?
It's Toledo, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Toledo.
I'm sorry, I thought it was south of the railroad track.
That's next to the writing.
Oh,
right.
It's,
okay, I'm the wrong place.
East of the range, yeah.
they've reached out to, Catherine Allendeck for some help and, John was there, Paul and one of the bad things about grants, grants don't pay payroll. I mean, you can't, that's
Usually it's infrastructure.
infrastructure, cause you always think you would think there'd be grants out there.
So how many employees and stuff like that do they have down there? Quite a few, or
They have the amount that
just whatever they need to make it work?
Yeah.
It sounds like they've already
for the code,
cut,
yeah.
did everything they could
Yeah.
do before, correct?
And I don't know the backstory, some of you that live here might, about, there's some embezzlement back in the day. Was that from the daycare or from, okay, so maybe they haven't just recovered from that.
How long ago was that?
My kids around there probably 15, 20 years.
So, and she said at the very beginning, it's a lot of little things that's stacking up against them.
Mhm.
But Tama said, they're in Toledo, they're just in no shape to help budget wise and like us. I mean, with the people are just in no shape to help them. So that's when I say the only real solution is getting enrollment up.
So,
And-
what's the problem with that? I mean, I know there are people on waiting lists. Is it just because of the 15 years ago?
Or
Or
is
is
the
that,
price, is it the price?
is
So
it,
how many
Prices aren't-
daycares
Aren't
have
up
been
there
better
that
too?
high. I
In
mean,
home,
the personal, and those numbers have gone.
no other centers, no, they're all in the city.
Yeah, in-home daycare,
is gone?
yeah, that's gone up. More people doing that.
Right.
So I don't know what the problem, how it all got there,
Hmm.
but the solution is, it's a tough one. I mean, I don't know, there's no way we are gonna be able to help them. And it's all a Band-Aid, it would just be a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
I think I really don't wanna get the numbers out there, but they owe the bank so much money from overdraws and stuff like that. So say you step up and pay that, say $10,000, I know it's just a number. It's a Band-Aid. They still don't have that money to pay, so they're just the debt's gonna start back up. So unfortunately, and I do have a statement, a year deal here, if you guys wanna look at it, bank stuff.
Did they share the financials, like the budget?
Yeah, this is just 1 year.
Oh, that is. the-
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah,
thought you meant like the bank statement.
Yeah, this is, they had bank statement, John did, and I think the city did, but they just handed out something like this, but, it doesn't, they're gonna need something, a miracle, you know, I mean, something, I just don't think the city will be able to step up, and I don't think we can step up. I don't know.
So if they go out of business, how many kids and what was the total number of kids that they're taking?
Right around 50.
About right around 50, so it's 50 more kids. We have to find a place.
Yeah.
And I know, that again, we know there's waiting lists.
Well, if it's closed, then what happens if people can't go to work?
Right.
You know, they gotta move to somewhere, you know, new job or pull their kids around other cities,
So-
like that's hard to do.
Do they have any advertising plans in order to try and solicit more? I mean, with a waiting list out there, and if they're charging basically the similar amount that a home babysitting, why are they not?
I don't know if it's as much as a home, but I think they're comparable with the other daycare centers.
What's like Cherrick, Heather? I mean, is that one always full or?
Yeah, I mean, it's.
I mean, is there a waiting list up there?
They raise their rates
So
quite a bit.
what's the difference that they're doing versus what these
I
are
mean, that'd
doing,
be
you
the
know?
question, I guess.
Geysers, I got a great one too.
Do they have one down here?
Yeah.
I guess I wasn't aware of
They
that.
built a new one.
I think the bigger
Five,
kids, there
6
might
years
be
old.
less because the cost went up. So I can just have grandma watch them or,
Right.
you know,